Justice John Roberts thought he could humiliate her in front of everyone, but Jasmine Crockett didn't back down for a second. When Chief Justice John Roberts challenged her credentials, she unleashed a blistering takedown that left the whole chamber stunned. She didn't just defend herself, she exposed his alleged fake law degree in front of the world. This isn't just politics, it's war in the courtroom. Watch the moment that turned the tables and shattered his reputation. Don't miss it. Jasmine Crockett adjusted her notes at the witness table, her expression calm but focused. The hearing was being televised, with millions watching across the country. The topic was judicial transparency, specifically allegations of financial impropriety tied to a $2.6 billion case involving Metatron Biotech, a company with rumored connections to the Supreme Court. Crockett, a former attorney and now a congresswoman, had been invited to testify due to her outspoken criticism of judicial overreach. Chief Justice John Roberts cleared his throat, his voice steady but edged with condescension. Congresswoman Crockett, let's keep this professional. Your background as a state representative and a brief stint as a lawyer hardly qualifies you to lecture this court on ethics. Why don't you stick to what you know? The room fell silent. Crockett's eyes narrowed, but she kept her composure. Chief Justice, with all due respect, my qualifications aren't on trial here. The American people deserve answers about the court's ties to corporate interests. I'm here to ask questions, not to be dismissed. Roberts smirked, leaning back in his chair. Questions? From someone who barely passed the bar. I've seen your record, Congresswoman. It's thin. You're out of your depth. The jab stung. But Crockett didn't flinch. My record? Let's talk about records, Your Honor. I passed the bar on my first try, practiced law for years, and now represent the people of Texas. What's thin is the public's trust in this court, and I'm here to figure out why. The gallery murmured. Robert's face tightened. You're here to grandstand, not to uncover truth. This court doesn't answer to you. Crockett leaned forward, her voice steady but sharp. This court answers to the Constitution and the people. If you're so confident in your integrity, why not answer my questions about Metatron Biotech? Why did you refuse to recuse yourself from a case involving a company that's been linked to your financial disclosures? The room buzzed. Roberts banged his gavel. That's enough. You're treading on dangerous ground, Congresswoman. I suggest you watch your tone. I'm not here to watch my tone, Crockett shot back. I'm here to watch out for the American people. And they're watching you right now, wondering why their Chief Justice is dodging questions. The escalation Justice Samuel Alito, seated to Roberts' right, leaned in. Congresswoman, this is a hearing, not a courtroom drama. You're not a prosecutor, and we're not on trial. Stick to the topic. Crockett turned her gaze to Alito. With respect, Justice Alito, the topic is judicial ethics. And when a company like Metatron Biotech, which has ties to a $2.6 billion case, also shows up in financial disclosures of justices on this bench, that's the topic. The people deserve to know if their highest court is for sale. The gallery erupted in whispers. Robert's face reddened. That's an outrageous accusation. You have no evidence, and your credentials don't give you the standing to make such claims. You're a token, Congresswoman, nothing more. The word token hit like a thunderclap. Crockett's jaw clenched, but her voice remained steady. A token. Let the record show that the Chief Justice just called a black woman, a congresswoman, and a lawyer a token. But let's talk about who's really being used here. I have evidence, Chief Justice. And it's not about me. It's about you. Roberts scoffed. Evidence. You're bluffing. This is a stunt, and you're wasting this court's time. Crockett reached into her briefcase and pulled out a thick folder. Bluffing, let's see about that. She held up a document. This is a financial disclosure from 2023, signed by you, listing investments in Metatron Biotech, the same company you ruled on last year without recusing yourself. Care to explain? The room went silent. Robert's eyes widened, but he recovered quickly. Those disclosures are public record. There's nothing improper here. You're fishing, Congresswoman, and you're embarrassing yourself, am I? Crockett flipped open the folder. Then why does this email obtained legally through a Freedom of Information Act request show you corresponding with Metatron's CEO about mutual interests just weeks before the case? That doesn't sound like impartiality to me. The gallery gasped. Justice Amy Coney Barrett shifted uncomfortably in her seat. Robert slammed his gavel again. This is unacceptable. You're out of order, Congresswoman. You don't have the authority to question my conduct. I don't need your permission to speak truth, Crockett said, her voice rising. The American people are my authority, and they're tired of justices acting like they're above the law. If you're so innocent, why not release all your correspondence with Metatron? Let the public decide. Robert's voice boomed. You're an amateur, Miss Crockett. You think you can waltz in here with your flimsy accusations and undermine this institution? I've been a judge longer than you've been a lawyer. Crockett didn't back down, and I've been fighting for justice longer than you've been honest, apparently. You want to talk about credentials? Let's talk about yours. The bombshell. The room froze. Robert's eyes narrowed. What are you implying, Congresswoman? Crockett took a deep breath, her voice steady but forceful. I'm not implying anything. I'm stating facts. I have documents here that raise serious questions about your legal credentials, specifically your law degree from Harvard. The gallery erupted. Roberts' face went pale. This is absurd. My credentials are impeccable. I graduated from Harvard Law School in 1979. This is a desperate smear. Crockett held up another document. Is it because I have a sworn affidavit from a former Harvard registrar who says your degree records are incomplete? There's no transcript of your coursework, no record of your graduation ceremony, and no confirmation of your bar admission in the state you claim to practice in before your judicial appointments. Care to explain that? Roberts' voice shook with anger. This is a lie. I've served on this court for decades. My record speaks for itself. Your record is what's in question, Crockett said, her voice cutting through the chaos. I have emails from a Harvard administrator admitting they were pressured to verify your degree without proper documentation. You've been sitting on the highest court in the land, and you might not even be a licensed lawyer. How's that for a scandal? Justice Brett Kavanaugh interjected, his tone sharp. Congresswoman, this is beyond the pale. You're making baseless accusations against the Chief Justice. Retract them now. Crockett turned to Kavanaugh. Baseless, I have the documents right here, and I'm happy to share them with the judiciary. Commit they're baseless. Why is the Chief Justice sweating? Roberts pounded his gavel. Enough. This hearing is over. You're in contempt, Congresswoman. Crockett stood, her voice unwavering. You can't silence the truth with a gavel. If you want to talk contempt, let's talk about contempt for the Constitution. The people deserve to know if their Chief Justice is a fraud. The room exploded in chaos. Reporters scrambled to take notes. Cameras zoomed in, and the gallery buzzed with shock. Roberts adjourned the hearing, but the damage was done. Crockett's accusations had gone viral within minutes. The aftermath in the days that followed, the nation was gripped by the story. News outlets replayed Crockett's confrontation with Roberts, and social media lit up with hashtags like #JusticeExposed and #CrockettForTruth. The Judiciary Committee launched an investigation into Roberts' credentials, and Harvard University issued a statement promising to review its records. Crockett sat in her congressional office, fielding calls from supporters and critics alike. Her chief of staff, Maria, handed her a cup of coffee. You really stirred the pot, Jasmine. The whole country's talking about this, Crockett sighed, rubbing her temples. I didn't want it to come to this, Maria, but when someone like Roberts tries to dismiss me, dismiss the truth, I can't stay quiet. The people deserve better. Maria nodded. You've got evidence, though. Those documents are airtight. They can't ignore redacted, sweep this under the rug. I hope so, Crockett said, but they'll try. You saw how he reacted. He's scared. On Capitol Hill, the fallout was intense. Republicans accused Crockett of staging a political stunt, while Democrats rallied behind her, calling for transparency. The FBI quietly began reviewing the allegations about Roberts' degree, and the Justice Department issued a rare statement acknowledging the investigation. The second hearing, 2 weeks later, a second hearing was called, this time before the House Judiciary Committee. Roberts was summoned to testify, a rare occurrence for a sitting Chief Justice. The room was packed with lawmakers, reporters, and onlookers. Crockett sat at the witness table, her folder of documents at the ready. Committee. Chairman Jim Jordan opened the session. Chief Justice Roberts, Congresswoman Crockett, we're here to address serious allegations. Let's keep this civil. Roberts spoke first, his voice calm but strained. I've served this country honorably for decades. My law degree from Harvard is legitimate, as is my entire career. Congresswoman Crockett's accusations are a baseless attempt to undermine the judiciary. Crockett raised an eyebrow. Baseless. I have an affidavit from a Harvard registrar stating your degree records are missing. I have emails showing pressure to falsify your credentials. That's not baseless, Chief Justice. That's evidence. Jordan interrupted. Congresswoman, you'll have your turn. Chief Justice, can you address the documents? Roberts adjusted his glasses. Those documents are forgeries or misunderstandings. My academic record is intact. I graduated with honors. The registrar's affidavit is a fabrication, likely coerced by political operatives. Crockett smirked. Coerced. That's rich, coming from someone who's been dodging questions about Metatron Biotech. Let's stick to the degree for now. Why is there no transcript of your coursework? Why did a Harvard administrator admit to being pressured to verify your degree without proof? The room buzzed. Robert's voice rose. This is a witch hunt. I've been a judge for over 30 years. My credentials have never been questioned until you came along with your vendetta. Vendetta, Crockett shot back. This isn't personal, Chief Justice, it's about accountability. You called me a token, an amateur, unfit, but who's really unfit here? A man who might have lied his way to the Supreme Court. The gallery gasped. Jordan banged his gavel. Order, Congresswoman, that's enough. Crockett didn't break eye contact with Roberts. I'm just getting started, Mr. Chairman. The American people deserve to know if their Chief Justice is a fraud. I've submitted my evidence to the committee. Let's see what the FBI finds. Roberts' face was flushed. You're a disgrace to this institution, Congresswoman. You're playing to the cameras, not the truth. Crockett leaned forward. The cameras are here because the people are watching. Chief Justice, they're watching you squirm. If your degree is real, prove it. Release your transcripts. Clear your name. Roberts stood, his voice shaking. I don't need to prove anything to you. This is an outrage. Jordan intervened. Chief Justice, please sit down. We'll review the evidence and proceed accordingly. As the hearing adjourned, Crockett gathered her papers, her expression resolute. Roberts stormed out, trailed by aides. The nation was divided. Some called Crockett a hero, others a reckless agitator. But the investigation was far from over. Investigation deepens over the next month. The FBI's probe intensified. Harvard University released a statement admitting irregularities in its archival process for certain records from the 1970s, but stopped short of confirming Crockett's allegations. A leaked email from a former Harvard official, however, claimed that Roberts' degree had been expedited under pressure from influential alumni, raising further questions. Crockett faced relentless attacks from conservative media who labeled her a radical and a troublemaker, but her supporters, including civil rights groups and progressive lawmakers, hailed her as a champion of justice. At a press conference outside the Capitol, she addressed the nation. I didn't start this fight, Crockett said, her voice firm. But when someone tries to silence me, to call me a token or an amateur, I fight back. The truth matters. If Chief Justice Roberts is who he says he is, he has nothing to hide. But if he's not, the American people deserve to know. A reporter asked, Congresswoman, are you worried about retaliation or taking on the most powerful judge in the country? Crockett smiled. Retaliation. I'm a black woman from Texas. I've been fighting my whole life. This is just another day at the office. The revelation in August 2025. The FBI released a preliminary report. While it found no conclusive evidence that Roberts' degree was entirely fabricated, it confirmed significant gaps in his academic and licensing records. The report noted that Roberts had been admitted to the bar in Indiana, but his application contained inconsistencies that were never investigated at the time. Roberts issued a public statement, calling the report inconclusive and accusing Crockett of orchestrating a political smear, but the damage was done. Public trust in the Supreme Court plummeted, and calls for Roberts' resignation grew louder. Crockett, meanwhile, continued her work in Congress undeterred. At a town hall in Dallas, she spoke to a cheering crowd. This isn't about me or John Roberts, it's about the truth. When power hides behind lies, it's our job to shine a light. I'm not done shining. The fallout continues. By September, the Judiciary Committee announced plans for a full investigation into Roberts' credentials and financial ties. Crockett's evidence had sparked a broader movement for judicial reform, with lawmakers proposing new ethics laws for the Supreme Court. Roberts remained defiant, but his authority was shaken. In private, aides reported he was rattled, haunted by the possibility that his legacy could be tainted. Crockett, on the other hand, emerged as a national figure, her name synonymous with courage and accountability. The confrontation between Jasmine Crockett and John Roberts was more than a clash of personalities. It was a battle for the soul of American justice, a reminder that no one is above the law, not even the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. Conclusion. As the investigation unfolded, the nation watched closely. Would Roberts clear his name, or would Crockett's evidence prove his undoing? One thing was certain, Jasmine Crockett had changed the conversation, forcing the powerful to face the truth. Her fight was far from over, but she had already won a victory for transparency and justice.